The number one, most hardest thing to do in this business, okay, I would say in conjunction with understanding advertising systems, okay, is going to be understanding why certain products will do well and why certain products won't do well. As we go through today, we're having a full-on product audit. Okay, full-on product audit going through several items, okay, that have been submitted so we can see exactly what looks good and what doesn't look so good and why, so we can understand the actual back-end reasoning as to why certain products will scale and why certain products won't. First and foremost, we see here an item that specifically, okay, is meant to go ahead and increase an issue that people are encountering when they're specifically putting on bed sheets and things of that nature. Okay, I see we got pass, we got fail, 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 fail. Hard to get good margin on that fail, pass, fail, fail, fail. Doesn't look high end, not much differentiator, fail, low perceived. Okay, all these are great, great, great points. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about why we're looking at this item and why this item is here in the first place. Okay, so we see a $4 cost here. We like to be around 20, okay, to 30 minimum margin profit off the bat when we make a sale. Okay, we want to make a minimum of $20. Anything higher than that is dandy. Okay, but we're looking to go ahead and specifically make a margin of $20. Now, one thing I want to go ahead and bring up here, I'm happy that we have a lot of people say fail, 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 is because there's one thing I want to go ahead and bring up and kind of open our minds and our eyes to, okay, with a lot of these different items. Lots of items that look like this that are just plastic, like they take a few cents to build, right? They're low perceived value. There's not really much going on here, okay, in terms of high perception, of high perceived value, okay? But there's a way to go ahead and put an item in a light that allows you to actually move forward and see some great, great ideology or potential with the item along with it. So traditionally, we look at the item, we're looking at the material, we're looking at the actual cost for us to acquire the item, right? And that's kind of giving us our first pieces of high perception or low perception. So we look at this specific product, okay, and what this item is supposed to do, okay? What do we think of this? This item, as we know, and you're making your bed, right? It's always an annoyance to go ahead and kind of peel your sheet over the bed, right? In one corner, let's say you have a bad back, you're an old woman, you're an old man who can't really bend down and get the sheet over it properly or lift the mattress up to go ahead and make an adjustment, okay? What's gonna happen here, this item actually goes under the actual mattress. I'll show you guys some of the other photos here as well. Okay, so you're able to lift the actual bed without having to use your back, okay, to go ahead and specifically make the bed. Okay, that's what the item does. When I first looked at this item, I thought it was something where, okay, maybe if I'm trying to lift my bed to get something underneath it, maybe it's trying to go ahead and see if there's a way to lift the bed easier, to go ahead and see if there's, you know, crumbs or other thing underneath it. But what it does, okay, is actually goes under the bed. So someone who's older and a bit less likely to lift a heavy Tempur-Pedic mattress or something like that, to lift it up and put the mat underneath. Okay, so now that there's some explanation, starting to make a bit more sense, right? Now, one thing I want to go ahead and bring up here as well is it is extremely low perceived value. Okay, look at this item, guys. Okay, it's extremely low perceived value. It's a piece of freaking plastic, for God's sake, right? It's a piece of plastic. Okay, so low perception, absolutely. But we also want to go ahead and keep in mind as well, one thing that we want to keep into consideration is the action or the results of the item being used. Okay, now what's important to realize is, yep, the item could look cheap, but is the result, okay, is the result the actual goal of the product here? Okay, is the goal of the product here also cheap? Meaning, is the fact that it's just a cheap piece of plastic, is that taking away, let me know in the chat, guys, is that taking away the fact that it's a low perceived value item when looking at it, is that taking away from the results of what the item does at the end of the day? Okay, correct. Alan says no. Okay. That's the point there. Looks very, very cheap. But when we're going to go ahead and actually consider a marketing angle, okay, what's important is that we're showcasing, okay, and understanding that people are buying for the results. They're buying for the explanation after they understand what the product is. Okay, if I were to just show you this item, you would say, oh my gosh, no, absolutely not, just like we have said, right? No, this item is not high perceived value. This item looks crappy, it looks cheap. And also there was not much explanation at all. Okay, I just dropped the landing page and all we see is a piece of plastic. Okay, and so will our consumers if we market it like that. Okay, the difference here is one of the actual important points is the results actually showcases, okay, true value. But let's go ahead and talk about it as well. Is this something that people are looking to buy constantly? Is this an impulse purchase? Maybe, okay, but also maybe not. Now, hear me out here. So for items like this, you're going to have people who are constantly making beds every day, who have the back pain, who can't do it, who struggle to do it, who are longing for a solution, right? And these individuals are specifically going to go ahead and maybe, look around, Google something, but they won't find anything because there's nothing that really comes to mind when you think of a name to put a mattress sheet on easier, right? But let's go ahead and say people are getting hit with ads over and over again because they're in, let's say the interests are mattress, bed sheets, something of home goods of that nature. Almost everyone has to make their bed. Okay. So regardless of this actual item being a cheap looking item, I would say this item is a phenomenal choice to go ahead and move forward with because we understand the importance of marketing angling, and every single person on earth needs a bed. So I definitely think this is a phenomenal size market to get into. Now, the whole point is not everyone has back pain when making their bed. The same reason that joint pain, okay, the specific, copper brand, knee, elbow, okay, back, all these types of items that have to specifically do with pain, do quite well. So for this specific item, okay, I would go ahead and pass this particular one because this item, whether it looks cheap, okay, as long as we have a proper explanation to go along with it, okay, and an actual proper showcase, people will begin to see the true result of this item. It's a problem that a lot of people have to deal with. It's general, it's cheap as hell. Okay, it's literally $4 or $5. We sell it for around $24.95, and Amazon's selling theirs for around $25 as well. So that gives us actual $24.95 is where we'll be, and that gives us kind of reassurance that the Amazon pricing is right where ours will be also. Now, also think about it. This specific item here, you could buy in bulk. Also, it's easy to ship because it's not 10,000 different pieces. The second that the video starts, it should be showcasing someone using it, so there's none of that confusion. As soon as everyone saw this item, no one knew what it did. Everyone's like, nope, looks cheap, looks cheap, looks cheap. That's the instant reaction that everyone will get if you don't actually have the marketing angle in line in the first place. Notice how a marketing angle could change the entire perception of a product here. And these are the types of products that do well and should be marketed because it's cheap, $4. You can sell for $24.95, even higher. Buy in bulk down the road. It's easy to ship to you. It's not going to have a ton of shipping charges. Okay, and items like this come in one specific form as well as different colors to make it easy to go ahead and sell many of them, okay, without having to hold many different SKUs. This item is something that I would move forward with for those reasons. Okay, now keep in mind, this point of me showing you this item is so instantly, when you look at an item, we don't write it off immediately. We want to go ahead and see what the item does. How does it work? How can we portray that certain product, okay, to our consumers? These are some of the most important points, okay, because at the end of the day, it's important that you understand that people are buying results, especially based off impulse ads. You don't have, if this was a Walmart product and it was in person, you would need someone to go ahead and sit there with a mattress showing how to use it and explaining how to use it. That's why all these kiosks and stands in the mall, et cetera, that places that have to have explanation, have people there, okay? You don't have to work in that manner. We have ads, online video, okay? That's the difference maker here, okay? And the market for something like this is massive. And when you throw the fact that pain is a contributor, okay, that's one of the biggest reasons people will buy now is because they're in pain. And that's something that's instant, okay? And honestly, a solution to pain is impulsive. So this is a great impulse buy as well. Now, an item like this, even if it's available in big box stores, it's probably not selling too well because there's no explanation for it. Also, most items, okay, like that are saturated are going to be in several big box stores. This one you can't find in Home Goods. You can maybe find it in Walmart. You won't find it in every single store you go into. It's not a massive commonality between every single store you're shopping at. And that's a big deal as well, okay, because you don't want to have an item that's available in every single brick and mortar that you go to, like an umbrella or like a cloth. But understand the points of this product here is that to the naked eye, it may look cheap, but with a bit of explanation and proper marketing angling and proper creation with the video, you can do quite well here with an item like this. Also, because this specific item is light, it's inexpensive, and you could sell many of them because it's not 10,000 different SKUs, which is really, really important. So keep those points in mind. Now, I know whose item this is. I approve this product. I love the item. You may move forward with it. Great submission.